Albert Belle was fascinating on the field, where he was the most dominant player in the mid-1990s, at least in the American League, and easily the most dominant player I ever watched play the game. And fascinating for his off-the-field, you can't call them antics, but situations he would fall into. During the strike era, Lisa Bercu visited Albert at his home and found a very mellow, grounded, almost unrealistic Albert Belle. But it's great. It's a good glimpse into him as a person. And again, Albert, thank you for blowing my mind in front of my eyes or listening on the radio. That era of the Indians was incredible. Never give up because of you and the other guys that you set on fire. Unbelievable ball player.
Browns going to 4-1 at the stadium. The Tribe may be getting ready for the playoffs with today's regular season grand finale against the Orioles. We ought to be talking Tribe baseball tonight, and we will. Earlier this week, Lisa Bercu sat down with Albert Belle for one of his rare interviews. When he speaks, the Triple Crown contender has some interesting things to say.
With me, probably the MVP of the Cleveland Indians, but definitely one of the most prolific players in baseball this year. But Albert, baseball is probably the furthest thing from your mind right now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Ever since we've been on strike, I've just been relaxing at home, been enjoying my free time. It feels weird kind of, having free time in August and September, and I've had to change my whole schedule around. But, it's nice to relax and, to do some of the things that, we normally don't get a chance to do during the summer because of baseball.
Think about it for a second. The playoffs would start this week, and you guys would be there at this time as a wild card. Does that frustrate you a little bit?
Yeah, it does. Probably, a few days ago, I was looking at the weather and I was thinking, it's the end of September and 70 degrees. This would have been great to, to wind down the season. And, it would have been nice to, to get into the playoffs and enjoy that.
Next year, going in, if there is a season indeed, what one goal would you like to attain? Is it batting for average? Is it home runs, RBIs? What's the one you'd be most proud of?
The one I would be most proud of is for us to win the pennant. I mean, that's a goal that's I felt like was real obtainable this year. I mean, I looked at the way our guys played this year, and I feel like those guys, a lot of guys stepped forward, and they seem to have gotten that confidence boost that they really needed, and I feel like. All of us can come together, and we could probably win everything next year.
Busy offseason, possibly for John Hart. Couple more pieces could always be added to the puzzle. What do you think you guys need? Maybe a right-handed bat in the lineup against the lefties like the New York Yankees. What do you think you could see them adding?
I don't think you can ever get enough pitching, especially, with the tough teams in our, in the American League. And maybe they can... find somebody to fill in for, the Jack Morris or that fifth starter where we seem to have had, a little bit of trouble this year.
Before we go to how you love to relax off the field, a lot of people might misjudge your focus for an aloofness. How do you explain that?
Yes, there was seemed to have been a big issue this year between me and the media. You look at our locker room where we had a brand new locker room and we had more space than we needed. Once we got to the park early, I got a chance to, talk to the players and to kind of get their feeling. We get to prepare for the game together, and we play ping pong together, and then after the game, we eat and talk about the game and stuff. And, I really enjoyed that closeness with the players, and I just kind of, wanted to keep the media away. And I felt like, it was becoming a distraction with the media because there were certain things I like to do before the game and certain things I like to do after the game, and I just felt like I didn't want those things distracted.
If people want to see you relax, all they have to do is drive to the local golf course. Golf's a tough game, but you just seem to thrive on that. Is that your most favorite way to get away from it all?
Well, yes, it's it's a change of pace game. You look at golf, it's probably the most difficult sport in the world to play. I mean, you have to master 14 clubs, whereas in baseball, you only have to master, one club, the baseball bat. It's a change of pace, and I know, if I hit a bad shot, my career doesn't depend on how well I perform on the golf course, so it's relaxing.
Lastly, you've always had, though, a love-hate relationship with this town, but I think people would finally love to see Albert Belle finish his career here. Your thoughts on that relationship and possibly finishing your career here? Would you like to finish it in Cleveland?
Yes, I mean, you have to remember that I guess Cleveland and I have a lot of things in common. I mean, it used to be when, you heard the word Cleveland, it was a negative response. But I always tell people that don't pass judgment on Cleveland until you come to the city and you just kind of hang out for a couple of days and then pass judgment. And I've had friends, my brothers, relatives, they come up here and they're excited to come up here and they can't wait to come back. And I feel like that's the same thing people say about me. If they haven't met me, they have all these negative ideas about me. But once you meet me and I guess hang out with me for a few days, then you change your opinion.
I don't know if you've changed your opinion on Albert or not. I wish Lisa could have been talking with him about the playoffs, huh?
Thanks for watching Cleveland Live Music. It's awfully bright out here. I'd click on another one of my videos. Quit looking into the sun. Your mother told you not to do that. Please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to support the channel more, there's GoFundMe and Patreon information in the video descriptions. Ooh, ooh!